voice of justice. An ancient law of heaven, written in the aftermath of the Sin War and the pact with Hell, forbade angels from interfering in mortal affairs. A foolish decree, for the forces of Hell had never honored that agreement themselves. Imperius resolved to personally punish the defiant Tyrael. Yet Tyrael disarmed even the greatest warrior of the heavens, and in that moment he realized that the aspect of creation he embodied had abandoned heaven itself. Tyrael then took another fateful step. He cast aside his angelic wings and surrendered the immortality granted to him by birthright. The fallen archangel plummeted from the heavens, his blazing descent illuminating the skies above Tristram. The people mistook him for a falling star, an omen of doom. The star crashed through the roof of the Tristram Cathedral, where a young woman named Leah, daughter of the witch Adria of Tristram, was studying ancient heraldic texts alongside her uncle, the aged Deckard Cain. Under Cain's guidance, Leah had grown wise far beyond her years. Near the old monastery and the ruins of Tristram, a new settlement had begun to grow, New Tristram. The extraordinary event of the falling star drew fresh heroes to the region. The destruction of the World Stone had once again altered the fate of Sanctuary. Within certain humans, the powers of their Nephilim ancestors began to awaken like distant echoes. But in one individual, that power manifested in its entirety. He was among those who arrived in New Tristram. At the sight of the fallen star, the travelers discovered a man suffering from complete amnesia. During its descent, the celestial object had seemingly shattered into 4 pieces, 1 large fragment and 3 smaller ones. The smaller fragments proved to be pieces of Tyrael's broken sword, Eldruin. Wise Deckard Cain theorized that no ordinary mortal could have survived such a fall, and that the fragments of the blade might help the stranger recover his memories. The heroes began their search, but they were not the only ones seeking the fallen shards. A cult devoted to Belial, the Lord of Lies, hunted them as well. During this deadly race, the cult attacked New Tristram, captured Deckard Cain, Leah, and Tyrael, and attempted to force Cain to restore the sword using heraldic magic. Surrounded by cultists, Leah erupted into uncontrollable fury, unleashing a terrible and unknown dark power that slaughtered the attackers and forced Magda to retreat. But before fleeing, the witch inflicted mortal wounds upon the old scholar and abducted Tyrael. With his dying breath, Cain succeeded in restoring the blade and realized that it had been sent to mankind from the heavens, which meant its owner could only be an angel. The heroes descended into the torture chambers where Magda held Tyrael captive. Fighting through the infernal creatures under her command and that of her master, they slew the monstrous butcher and freed the fallen angel. The moment Tyrael grasped his sword once more, his memories returned instantly. The heroes then journeyed east in pursuit of Magda, to the magnificent city of Caldeum, now under the control of Belial and his servants. The Lord of Lies had assumed the form of Caldeum's young emperor, staying perpetually several steps ahead of his enemies. Their first act was vengeance for Cain's death. The heroes slew Magda within the occupied town of Alcarn. Soon afterward, they discovered that Leah's mother, the witch Adria, was alive, though Leah had believed her dead her entire life. Adria offered to help her daughter control the dark power that had erupted within her in New Tristram. She also revealed the existence of the Black Soul Stone, an artifact once created by the mad heraldic mage Zoltan Kuhl. Unlike ordinary soul stones, the Black Soul Stone possessed the power to imprison not merely one soul, but many at once, both angelic and demonic, and potentially destroy them forever. Having learned of the Black Soul Stone years earlier during her time with Aiden, Adria had performed dark rituals that bound the essences of the evils to the stone itself. As a result, whenever the demons were defeated, their souls no longer returned to the burning hells, but were instead drawn directly into the Black Soul Stone. Thus Andariel, Duriel, Mephisto, Diablo, and Baal had all become prisoners within it. Only 2 of the evils remained free. The heroes resurrected Zoltan Kuhl and obtained the Black Soul Stone. Soon afterward, they assaulted Belial himself and imprisoned his soul within the artifact as well. One night, Asmodan, the Lord of Sin, appeared to Leah in a vision. He told her that he knew of her plan. At the time, the demon's words seemed meaningless. Asmodan knew of the Black Soul Stone and sought to claim it for himself, intending to absorb the imprisoned souls of the other demons and become the prime evil reborn. Yet the Lord of Sin made a grave mistake. He revealed his intentions to Leah. He planned to launch a demonic invasion of Sanctuary through the colossal Ariat crater, where Tyrael had destroyed the World Stone 20 years earlier. The heroes arrived at the besieged bastion near the crater, whose walls had already been breached by Asmodan's hordes. They restored hope to the defenders and drove the demons back from the fortress. The relentless assault of the Nephilim and the other champions forced the armies of hell into retreat. Humanity drove the Lord of Sin deep into the Ariat crater itself and finally defeated him, sealing the soul of the last remaining evil within the Black Soul Stone. For a moment it seemed humanity had seized the initiative. Victory over the forces of darkness appeared within reach. But Adria had other plans. The witch had lied when she spoke to the Nephilim, Tyrael, and the others about the Black Soul Stone. It did not contain the souls of all 7 lords of hell, only 6. Diablo had remained free all along. Adria offered her own daughter as a vessel for the spirit of the Lord of Terror. The bargain had been made long ago in Tristram, when Aidan, son of Leoric, returned from his terrible descent into the Herodric Monastery and sealed Diablo's crimson soul stone within his own body. When Diablo departed Tristram in the guise of the Dark Wanderer, Adria left as well. Soon afterward, she gave birth to a daughter, Leah, a child whose father was Aidan, the Dark Wanderer, Diablo, the Lord of Terror himself. From the moment of her birth, poor Leah had been doomed. Adria's betrayal was revealed within the bastion itself. Many perished in an instant as Diablo seized control of the Black Soul Stone. Using it, he absorbed the essences of the 6 other evils into himself. The full power of the burning hells flooded into his being. Diablo was reborn as the prime evil. Empowered beyond anything the world had ever witnessed, he attempted what neither mortal nor demon had ever dared before. He marched upon the high heavens themselves, determined to extinguish the light of the crystal arch forever and destroy heaven as a realm entire. Diablo appeared before the crystal gates of heaven and effortlessly defeated Imperius, leader of the Angiris Council, in single combat. Then he tore open infernal rifts across the Silver City. Demonic legions poured into the heavens while Diablo himself advanced toward the crystal arch. The angels could not withstand the overwhelming power of the prime evil, but then humanity came to their aid, the very race the angels had once considered exterminating. The heroes restored hope to the heavens and reclaimed the Silver City piece by piece until they reached the pinnacle of the crystal arch, where Diablo awaited them. Once again, humanity achieved the impossible. The prime evil was defeated, and his essence was imprisoned once more within the Black Soul Stone. Tyrael returned to the Angiris Council as a mortal, now embodying wisdom in place of justice. At last, it seemed Sanctuary might finally know peace. But peace never came. Long before Diablo's assault upon heaven, the Archangel of Wisdom, Malthael, had abandoned the Angiris Council and vanished from the high heavens. The eternal conflict had twisted and hardened his mind. More than anything, Malthael desired to end the war forever, and he believed the time had come. When the 7 evils became imprisoned within the Black Soul Stone, he reached a horrifying conclusion. Humanity was nothing more than a foul, unnatural offspring of demons, and if all demons had to perish for the eternal conflict to end, then humanity must perish as well. To achieve this, Malthael needed the Black Soul Stone, which the reborn Herodrim, restored under the guidance of the now mortal Tyrael, had taken into their custody. The Angel of Death descended upon their vault and slaughtered most of the Herodrim. Only Tyrael and Lorath Nar survived, protected from Malthael's lethal aura by Tyrael's sword, Eldruin. Empowered by the Black Soul Stone, Malthael and his reapers unleashed horrific slaughter upon the streets of Westmarch. They harvested human souls indiscriminately. Every death strengthened the Angel of Death further. Once he had absorbed enough souls, Malthael vanished together with the Black Soul Stone. The heroes of Sanctuary pursued him relentlessly. The only person who might know his destination was Adria herself. The witch had no intention of helping them. Instead, she attacked, transforming into a grotesque abomination, warped by blood magic. Before the battle, the Nephilim glimpsed within a blood-filled fountain the outline of the place Malthael had gone, the Pandemonium Fortress. There, the Angel of Death was performing dark rituals with the Soul Stone, yet by the time the heroes found him, Malthael had already sent the altered Black Soul Stone into Sanctuary itself. Twisted by the Angel of Death, the stone began tearing the demonic essence from the souls of every human being, the same essence carried within mankind since the birth of the first Nephilim. A great battle erupted, and the Nephilim began to overpower Malthael. In desperation, the Angel of Death shattered the Black Soul Stone and absorbed the power of the great evils into himself. But the Nephilim's strength had become too great. Malthael was defeated. What became of Diablo and the other evils remained a mystery for many years. Yet one truth was certain: they had not been destroyed, for they are not merely powerful beings, they are the dark aspects of creation itself, and such things can never truly die. More than 50 years had passed since the battle with Malthael. Sanctuary endured as best it could, after more than half of humanity had been slaughtered by the Reaper of Souls. Yet peace had never truly existed in the mortal world. Forests, mountains, and deserts alike remained infested with monsters, undead horrors, and demons. In those 5 decades, several momentous events reshaped the fate of Sanctuary. The Archangel Inarius escaped Mephisto's captivity and returned to the mortal realm, where he once more established a religious order known as the Cathedral of Light, along with his personal army, the Knights Penitent. The prime evils had not yet fully reformed within the burning hells, though fragments of their essence had already begun to recover. For a time, the Horadrim remained active, but after Tyrael abandoned his disciples, the order slowly crumbled into ruin. And then came the event that would become the catalyst for a new age in Sanctuary's history. Through a bloody ritual, the demoness Lilith was summoned back into the mortal world. She began her march across the realm she had once helped create, seeking followers to gather beneath her banner. It is here that the story of our hero begins. A lone wanderer rides through snow-choked mountain passes beneath a dead and frozen sky. During the night, something terrifies his horse. He later finds the animal nearby, its entrails spilled across the snow. Somewhere in the darkness stalks the creature responsible, a sinister wolf bearing an otherworldly grin. Weak and half frozen, the traveler stumbles into a cave, where exhaustion slowly drags him toward death. But then his mind is pierced by a vision of the beast that slew his horse. The creature's image, demonic, grotesque, as though born from another realm entirely, fills the wanderer with unnatural strength. Rising to his feet, he presses onward through the raging blizzard toward the nearest settlement. The backwater village of Nevesk greets him with desperate cries from its people, begging for protection against the evil crawling out of nearby ruins. After cleansing the ruins of demons, the wanderer returns to Nevesk, where the villagers celebrate him as a savior and prepare a feast in his honor. They feed him, pour him drink after drink, but something has been mixed into the meal. Before long, the traveler loses consciousness. Helpless and senseless, he is dragged into a barn littered with severed limbs and human entrails. Death looms only moments away, but at the last second, he is saved by the monk Eosef. Together, they fight their way through the maddened villages of Nevesk. The wanderer violently retches up the tainted stew, and it becomes clear that strange blood-red petals had been mixed into the food. Identical petals lie scattered across the floor of the local chapel. The moment he touches one, a vision unfolds before him, as vividly as waking reality. Sometime earlier, during a sermon, the demoness Lilith herself entered the chapel. She proclaimed that the forces of hell would soon descend upon Sanctuary, and that salvation would not be found in worship of the light, but within mankind itself, whatever such words were meant to imply. Lilith's mere presence drove the villagers into a frenzy of bloodlust. In savage madness, they tore the preacher apart. And then Lilith, accompanied by her mysterious pale-faced companion, departed into the night. Horrified by the wanderer's vision, Iosef departs at once to report everything to the cathedral.